Is it Mike?
Yeah.
How you doing, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Not bad.
Good.
I've read Atlas Shrugged. I want to start off by saying, and then I'm also an atheist.
Okay.
Just want to get that out of the way. And I agree with pretty much everything that y'all were saying about objectivism. Those are pretty much most of my objections to the belief as well. My call is going to tie into the email that said basically objectivists are annoying. And that's pretty much a common thing that you hear about objectivists. A lot of people are turned off to the whole philosophical belief just based on the fact that the followers of Ayn Rand are so off-putting just from jump that it just puts people off to the philosophical belief. I read a book not too long ago called The Devil is a Gentleman. I was wondering if y'all have heard of that one.
No. I don't think so.
It's by a man named Hallman, and he basically summarizes a lot of William James' works, and a pragmatic philosopher. And his belief was that basically the pragmatic belief that religion helps people make it through life and it helps them be happier, more friendly people. Therefore, it's a good force in the world. Right. And I don't know if I believe it. Just from the basis of me growing up in the Southern Baptist Church, I know that they could be some of the worst people in the world. So, so I know that doesn't fly in every scenario. But when it comes to objectivists and atheists together, both, it's kind of hard not to notice it. Just me being an atheist myself, it's hard not to notice that as a group, both are kind of off-putting as a general. Just as a general rule. I don't know if that's if it's something within the philosophies or within just within the groups, or just maybe just inherent in the fact that you believe that you know something that other people haven't caught on to yet. Maybe it's just inherent in that.
There's something.
My question is if objectivists are so off-putting, is that an argument in and of itself that objectivism would not be the best force in the world as far as...
No, and I'm trying not to focus on objectivists just being annoying. I'm trying to focus on what Rand actually said and thought. And,
so the answer is no.
Work.
The answer to that is no, but also to talk a little bit about, potentially off-putting. You could say that about anybody or anything, whether they be Christian, objectivist, atheist, whatever. With regard, and in fairness, I'm willing to take this on, and that is to religious people, to sincere theists of most stripes. Right. Atheists often appear, and I'm as guilty or more than anybody else, arrogant, condescending, whatever, because we've managed to figure out why those beliefs are so damned silly, and why haven't you? Exactly, yeah. I know I've put it in those kind of terms before. I try not to always do that, and I think different people can be reached different ways. One of the examples that I've used in the past is this idea of Santa Claus, and how I'm convinced from what I've seen that most kids, well, I won't say most, I don't want to quantify anything, but there are some kids who stop believing in Santa Claus because they discover the reality. They'll catch their parents, or they'll start putting two and two together, that the guy at this mall looks different from the guy at this mall, looks different from the guy out there swinging a bell, and the insanity of being able to travel around the world in one night and blah, 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 and all the magic involved. There are other children that stop believing because of ridicule, because the older people, the ones who are supposed to have discovered more and have a better understanding of this, would make fun of them for, oh, you still believe in that stuff. I happen to think that there is a place for that within the religious discussion as well. It is not my preferred first line. I'd rather have a good, intelligent discussion with a believer who can explain to me what they believe and why they believe it. Unfortunately, despite having spent years on this show asking people to call in and tell me what they believe and why they believe it, I can't really think. I've had some good conversations in email and in person, but I can't think of too many callers that qualify. Usually what we get are inane, incredibly silly explanations that aren't deserving of the sort of equitable response of, oh, okay, I see why you would do that. They are deserving of ridicule because they are ridiculous.
And that's because of the medium that you're presenting it in is a TV show, so obviously you're going to get the people who, you know.
That may be the case, and definitely I've had better emails, better intellectual emails than calls.
Right. But in my own life, I would have to say that in my own life, I've made more of a commitment to not talk religion with people, period, just because of that basic, I'm not finding the word, but just the idea that I can come off as arrogant myself, and I have so many times.
And it's decent to avoid conflict. I mean, a lot, but but there comes a point where your beliefs inform your actions, and people take actions that affect other people. And in some cases, which is why this is very different from what religious people do. I could look at religious people and do, and Ray Comfort's the prime example, who are arrogant and condescending, and completely insulting in how they come about preaching their particular religion. The difference between what we do here and what they do is I don't call them, they call me. And yet religious people seem so enamored of this idea of being condescending while pretending to be loving that they're willing to walk door to door and knock on your door and interrupt what you're doing at your home. I'll never do that. There's no way you could get me to go knock on people's doors and say, hi, I'm the president of the Atheist Community of Austin. We'd like to talk to you a little bit today about what you believe, why we think it's silly, and why you should come join us. That's just stupid.
And to tie it back into, I guess just to tie it back into the topic of the day, I've just always been fascinated in this asshole objectivist rule. It is, like you said, you've had hit or miss experiences in the past with Jay. I pretty much only had miss, and I've read the book, and, you know, there's much to be learned from Ayn Rand.
I actually had one face-to-face encounter with a real live objectivist, and it was not a good face-to-face encounter. Somebody came into one of the ACA meetings years ago and started like quoting out of this book here as if it were, you know, the Bible. And when we said, I'm not sure that stuff is right, you seem to be almost using Ayn Rand as a God substitute. He said, well, she was almost godlike in her intelligence. And it was like, okay, get out of here. Yeah. I'm not saying that all objectivists are like that, but a lot seem to be.
Yeah,
Do you think that there's something inherent in objectivism itself that lends itself to that attitude?
It may be something that attracts people. Certainly, this idea of rewarding intelligence and reason is appealing to a lot of people.
It is appealing to me.
Yeah.
That's why I liked Atlas Shrugged the first time, because it glorifies intelligence.
But what I will say is hang on. We're going to go ahead and let you go, Mike, but there's another guy on the phone who may or may not be an objectivist, I'm not sure, but has something to say on the subject, and I want to make sure we get to him before we run out of time today, too. So thanks a lot for the call, Mike.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.